Hello everybody, it is other conservative quick look to welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to overanalyze my silver. Now if you've seen a previous mine, I showed you all my silver that I put in this cream cheese container. This silver I'm going to add to it, but because of my analytical coin collecting brain, I'm going to organize everything, tell you the value, and tell you the wholesale value if I was just selling the silver as a silver dealer. And a little sneak preview. Silver itself is sold at 20 times face. I got some organizing I gotta do. I'm gonna organize them into each denomination, and we can go from there. I have some troy ounces, some dollars, half dollars, quarters, some nickels, and about $6 in dimes. Now, when I say silver dealers sell for 60 times, not 60, but 20 times face value rather, you have $6 in silver nickels. So if you go over to my calculator and go 6 times 20, I have $120 in potential silver profit if I was to sell these at 20 times face. Then we got a few nickels, some quarters, some half dollars, some dollars, some rounds. Now, I am not going to talk about wholesale. What I'm going to talk about is what they are worth, period. And I have a piece of tape right here, and I'm going to write it down with a Sharpie how much I have in silver. And now, silver per ounce has actually gone way up. It is at about $36.78, right now about $37, which is up from the 30 than what I last saw. If you take a look at the silver chart I have on my computer here from ampex.com, it is up 53 cents. It's up 1.46%. And it's up overall. It's actually gone down, gone up over the past week or so. And silver has had peaks. Like, this is January 16th, 1995, it was at 453. But if you take a look at what it was at, oh, you can't see it, but it was 44.92 in March 2011. So it's been up and it's been down, and it's up right now. It's like the stock market, in which it'll always go up, it'll always go down. But unlike the stock market, silver will never be zero. Stocks fail all the time. Silver won't, because it's a physical thing you can hold in your hand. You can't hold stock in your hand. It's all ones and zeros, not silver. First thing I have here to add to my list, to add to my container, are the 3 troy ounces. For all intents, purposes, and easy math, let's say they're about $27 each, just for rounding purposes. 27 times 3 is $111. 3 troy ounces is about $111 right now. 111 times 20, 2,220. I'm not going that extreme, but adding it to the container, and I got some Morgans. Now, to determine the value of my Morgans, I need to go to PCGS's coin photo grade online. I go, oh, you can't see it. Here we go. Dollars, Morgans, and it tells you everything from MS64 all the way to P001. Now, I'm not that good to multitask, so I'm going to have to do this off camera and let you know what they are. I determined these are about VF30. I tried the extra fines, and the extra fines have much more detail in Lady Liberty's hair. The detail was kind of smoother, kind of worn off. So it's XF20, and then the one below that's VF30. And the VFs are about $53 each. $50 for something that was only $1, which is pretty insane. On to the smaller denominations, the quarters. Or, no, these aren't quarters, these are $half, then the quarters. I haven't seen Walking Liberty $half in so long, I almost forgot what they look like. These are absolutely beautiful and spectacular, and I have no idea what the heck they're worth. Considering you can barely see any of Liberty's head, in order to get anything higher than a good, I'd have to see the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Guess you can see the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Zoom here, I can't with my naked eye. But knowing I can see Liberty's nose actually changes the value of it. Originally, I was going to say good, and realistically, they're probably no more than that, but I'm going to put them at F12, the very first fining condition, knowing that I can just barely see Liberty's eyes, nose, and mouth, as you can see on here. And in the picture on the computer, you can barely see Liberty's eyes, nose, and mouth. Granted, the picture is not to scale, and you can see the details a lot nicer through a microscope, which I don't have on me right now. I do have a coin microscope, but it's downstairs, and my mom uses it way more than I do. I've had a couple of impulse purchases, and some of the purchases I've made, my mom uses more than I do, like a laser thermometer. She uses it for her soap making and all that. I just bought it to play around with. But for all intents and purposes, let's say they're the very beginning of fine, which I am probably being a little too generous with that. But it's just for all intents and purposes, let's say that. They're $18.25 for all 3 years. With the quarters, I have 2 SLQs, and only one of them has a visible year. I only see a 9 on this particular quarter. The year has rubbed off completely. I don't think it's not Liberty's bare breast, so it's not back from way back then. But I'm going to mark it as face value because I can't see a year, and not being able to tell what year it is, I can't determine the value. So it's face value, and in the thing it goes. However, the 1927 SLQ is a different story because I can actually see the year in full detail in 1927. I'm going to put this at about VF35. What is the value of it at VF35? I do have a website for it, and VF, any of them, is about $23 for what was considered 1/4, almost 100 years ago, like 98 years ago. Which, pretty cool. That's the last of the SLQs. What about good old George W? Or Washington, because W is a different George. This president, George Washington, actually contributed to the presidency. He was actually a good president. Unlike the other George, which I'm not going to get into that. all my quarters are lined out by year. And I have this proof quarter here that's made of silver. I actually don't know if it's from a silver proof set or if it just has a nice bent mark. But I'm putting it with my silver. And I'm going to consider it face value because when a proof set is broken up, it loses all of its value. You have to have the whole proof set to have the value of this coin. It's got to be all together. If you break the setup, you break up its value, its face value, that is final. But the first quarter I have is very old, a 1939 S quarter here. Being an estimate mark doesn't make it any more valuable, any less valuable. I don't know yet. This 1943 is quite damaged. It's got a lot of wear and tear on both the obverse and the reverse. And I'm only going to put it in good condition, like the 1939, but it's a lot less faded, but it's in rough shape. Realistically, it's probably only face value, but it's the silver is what makes it more than just 25 cents. The silver makes it about $7. I'll say it's about $7. To speed things up a little bit, because it's both getting late on my end of the camera and the video was going to be pretty long, all 6 of these quarters I put as AU50, and all these quarters at AU50 are $7.75 each. So it will be about $46.50 for all 6 of these quarters. On to the nickels. And then the dimes are what's really going to make this video long. Here's to hoping I have a lot of dimes with the same year on them, so it'll make it easier. The other nickels that I found that truly have silver in them are the war nickels, about 35% silver, and they're all about $1 each, so I'm going to put this at $4. I wanted to separate the mercury dimes from the rest of the rosy dimes, and obverse is obvious, and the reverse is also pretty obvious in the difference as well. So it's pretty easy to separate the both of them, but I gotta get these years in order. This is a mercury dime. I'm making face value off the bat. It's very worn, very circulated. Although the rim is smoothed out, and you can even barely see the year. Of course, my hand causes a shadow when I move it. It's 1920 something. That could be a 20 or a 29 or a 29. I'm not sure because the 0 was cut off. So in the thing it goes. Again, for time's sake and my sake, I did an average value for all those mercury dimes. They're all common years, all nothing special, and all in pretty decent shape. Some more than others. But in fine condition, they could be worth about $3 each. I also want to mention there was only one from the 30s in there. It's 1939, and the rest are from the 40s. So this is where I'm getting my average from. I'm going to say they're about $3.25 a pop. Good news to make this video way easier after doing some research on silver Roosevelt dimes from when they were minted from 1947 to 1964. When they were minted, these are all basically worth silver. Extremely fine condition is worth about $2 pop, and this one I would say is complete extra fine. But maybe there's only one of them in there. They're not in all that good a shape. They'll have a lot of good detail, but I would never send these in to get submitted. They would be ungradable. They're just average. I would say a lot of these are fine condition at most. So they're all worth face value. Here I have $3.60 in face value silver Roosevelt dimes. Now, when I say face value, I just mean the 10 cents. Obviously, these 10 cents are worth more than 10 cents because of the silver content. But for all intents and purposes, to keep it as simple as possible, I have $3.60 in dimes here. I wanted to give you one more look at all the silver all mixed together and just listen to it. Silver has its own unique, distinct sound. When you do that with clad coins, they don't sound like that. Just pick everything up, put it in this container, and mark it. How much silver do I have to mark my container? If I was to give it a rough estimate, I would say about $402.85. I used my calculator, 402.85. I'm definitely going to have to write it a little neater because it looks like 86. Luckily, I have the tape and I can do it again. $402.85 in here. And let's say for all intents and purposes, I wanted to sell this container for 20 times face value. If I was just selling it for face content, that is $8,057. But I'm not going to sell it anytime soon. It's staying in my collection, and I'm a sucker for silver, no matter if it's face value or a million times face value. I'm going to keep adding to that container and adding to the total. So the total you see, if let's say I find another silver coin at the coin store, or if I buy more silver and I add it to that jar, I'm going to add it, and I have a lot of painter's tape to stick to the bottom of that. So it's an ongoing saga. As long as I'm on the hunt for silver coins, whether Coinstar or Amazon or eBay or whatever, that container is going to get fuller and fuller and fuller. I'm the Conservative Coin Collector, signing off. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit the bell icon and do all that good stuff. And well, so long, everybody. Bye-bye.